pastor, my friend, Pastor Mark Lewis, First Church of God up in the hill. Pastor Mark? You bet.
Good evening, Lord. Thank you for loving us. Lord, thank you for our good community that we live in. Lord, I've only been here 7 years, but I sure like it. Lord, I like it because things are in order and things get done. And Lord, it's because of people like those who are in this room tonight who care about the community and they want to get things done and do them right. And Lord, I pray that tonight in this meeting that you will give direction, insight. Lord, we need your help. On our own, there's no telling what we'll do. But if we'll look to you, we'll have the right attitude and we'll have the right spirit so that everybody in our community prospers and is took care of. Thank you, Lord, for Jack, who served as our mayor and been on the front row of my church as I got to preach to him these years. Lord, I know he loves you. And Lord, give him direction, Lord, in this meeting tonight as the mayor. And Lord, be with each council member and do something special tonight. Lord, make something happen so that West Plains will be known as a pretty good community that puts you first. In Jesus' strong name, amen.
Amen. Mike?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay. I feel like we need to say two.
No, you did not.
Okay, thank you. Okay, we have a quorum. We are ready to go. Let's go, Mike. Let's get started.
First item we have is consideration of the consent agenda.
I make a motion, we approve the consent agenda.
Second.
Discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Passed.
Next item, we have reading of the bills. Bill 4683 to become ordinance 4683, second reading. An ordinance approving the adoption of city and utility budgets for the fiscal year beginning April 1, 2021 and ending March 31, 2022.
I make a motion, Bill 4683 become ordinance 4683, second reading.
Second.
Any discussion, questions?
I got some questions, Mayor.
Yes.
In reading the charter, I realized that this is my first time going through a budget process, so please bear with me. I've noticed that we don't have a properly adopted capital improvement plan, which is required by the charter. I've looked at different charter cities' capital improvement plans. They do have those, and they are adopted by resolution. Here's one, it's capital improvement plan, Cape Girardeau. That's their front page cover. And then there's their resolution adopting their capital improvement plan, which, by the way, follows the state's model code, Missouri Municipal League model code, to adopt charter city or charter capital improvement plan, which is normally a 5-year plan. Our charter follows the model plan pretty much word for word when it comes down to the financial considerations and the process of which cities with a charter form of government aren't followed. And West Plains does have the language that the model charter has. One of them is that the charter or the capital improvement plan is supposed to be done on a 5-year plan or at least a long-term plan. Our charter says for West Plains to have a long-term capital plan, and it shall be submitted to the council by the city administrator, and then the council is supposed to adopt that long-term capital improvement plan by resolution. That's why Cape Girardeau and a lot of other cities have a separate resolution and a separate document that is separate, complete, not part of the budget. Those 5 years that's identified in those capital improvement plans, plans I've seen can be 30 or 40 pages long. I've seen some of them that are 200 to 300 pages long. And it goes into detail of what those capital improvement plans that the citizens as well as the council, has identified that they want to have see done for the betterment of their community. When you have that 5-year capital improvement plan, when it comes time for budgeting purposes, all the city has to do, I'm saying that simplifying, and what the city staff does, the administrator and the council, they go back to that 5-year adopted plan and they choose the next capital improvement plan that can be done with anticipated budget that they're going to be receiving that ensuing year. So when you do that 5-year long-term capital improvement plan, it may take 6 months, and I've talked with the incoming administrator just briefly this afternoon, and he promises that we, as a group, will be getting right on that. I do want to extend my appreciation and recognize the staff that have been trying to get these long-term capital improvement plan up and going. We've had things to halt it. Reasons are valid and why we haven't had one, but to my knowledge, Mayor, correct me wrong, I don't know if the city of West Plains has ever had a truly capital improvement plan that's been adopted by the resolution by city council since we've become a charter city. You can recall us having
I
that?
do not recall.
Okay. I'm not trying to point fingers. I'm just want to make sure that we are doing what our charter says. None of us want to go through a different or another citizen uproar because we're not following the charter. That's my message to you. Each of you is seeing my emails of what different parts of the financial budget process requires and the organizational structure that the capital improvement budget should follow, et cetera, et cetera. And that's done, then the capital improvement plan, the city budget, and should be on public record here at City Hall, at the public library, and the city's website. That's all included in our charters where those are supposed to be. That way, if a person doesn't have access to a website, they can go down to the public library and look at the public plans, maybe get a little bit more involved as well. I don't want to stop tonight's progress, but we really need, as a city leadership and the city staff, we need to bring our ship back on board, get it up to speed where we're operating on this capital improvement plan. So when citizens ask us, why are we doing that? We can say, because that's what the citizens adopted after we held our public hearing and worked on this thing for 6 months. And it's going to be good for 5 years. And we just check off the list. That would make, I think, budgeting on an annual basis becoming very helpful tool to be had. So that concludes my remarks.
Looking forward to the next couple of weeks, one of the first things that I was going to work with Sam to get set up is, in this year's budget, we have $25,000 set aside for strategic planning. And I think that's where we need to begin. We'll start with a strategic plan, working with the directors, with Sam, all of us together, so we can get that together. And part of that will be our long-term public improvements dovetail together. Yeah, capital improvement. So I think after the 30th, we'll be looking at kind of a reorganization, and that's a good way to start us for us all to get together a strategic plan and move forward. Yeah, appreciate your comments, Tom.
Good project, bet.
And if I could, Mayor, the only thing I would say is the reason I'm voting yes on it is I believe that it does meet the minimum requirements for the charter. It is a plan. Long range is a very subjective term. A year may be long range to some. Do I think it's ideal? I don't disagree with what you're saying, Johnny, that I think long range should be long range. But I also don't believe that it's in violation, so to speak, of the charter. Same with the ordinance and resolution. An ordinance is actually a higher bar. Mm-hmm. So we're actually exceeding what the charter requires by adopting it by ordinance as part of the budget. Would it be nice to have it standalone? Sure. Again, I don't disagree, but just kind of my opinion on it, on why I voted yes last week and why I'll vote yes this week. So.
Sherry?
So there's been no changes, no additions, no takeaways, since the last meeting that we had on the first reading on last Thursday. So if, council and mayor are okay with it as we have it, we feel like we have a good product and we're ready to proceed.
Did we have any public comment?
No.
Because, questions, comments? Mallory.
Bill 4683 to become ordinance 4683, second reading. Cotter,
Yes.
Topliff,
Yes.
Neese,
Yes.
Merle,
No.
Holman.
Yes.
Bill 4684 to become ordinance 4684, first reading. An ordinance increasing the rates charged by the city of West Plains, providing the service of refuse collection to commercial and residential customers of the city of West Plains, Missouri.
Make a motion, Bill 4684 become ordinance 4684, first reading.
Second.
Hey, Jeff.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. As you know, your ordinance, this is to adopt new rates for refuse. So I had a small presentation here. See if I can get it. Okay. So for general information, the last time refuse rates had been changed was in November of 2012. That was by ordinance 4280. And prior to the proposed change in the current rate, the budget reflected the following numbers. Before the rate increase, we had a revenues of projected of $667,000 and expenditures of $826,913 for the year, which put us in a deficit of $159,913. After this proposed change, it would place the total revenues at $961,000 and expenditures of $893,042. And the expenditures, the over under would be $67,958 to the good. We did take the time to do comparables. As you can see, we had several comparables. We took City West Plains, which is at the top of the slide, and this is residential and commercial rates. The commercial rate shows a 1 yard proposed change and a 6 yard proposed change. That was just the example that we used. We have changed all the other dumpster rates also. If you look here, this is City West Plains line, Trash Wagon Express. For reference, Trash Wagon Express is just outside the city limits. And then Willow Springs, Mountain View, Kabul, Mountain Grove, and Rolla. Okay, so we highlighted the areas. Green indicates the lowest rate of all the comparables. So as you can see, Mountain View was the lowest rate out of everybody at $12. After our proposed change, we would be the second lowest at $13. Everyone else is higher, with the highest being Trash Wagon Express, which is just right outside the city limits. In the commercial area, the 1 yard proposed change, you see that here where we are the lowest rate at $36.95. That's after the proposed. The second lowest would be Mountain Grove at $38. And then the highest was Willow Springs at $56. And then in the 6 yard proposed, we still maintain the lowest rate at $112.54 for a 6 yard that's dumping at one time. And there are several that came in second as the lowest rate. They were Willow Springs, Kabul, Mountain Grove, and Mountain View was the highest rate for a 6 yard dumpster at $259.80. With that being said, we took a comparable. We wanted to show you what it was going to do to each individual household and small business, and then our large restaurant, which is the ones that get dumped on a more regular basis. So the residential rate went from $10.50 and will be, the proposed is $13 a month. The average small business dumped one time a week. The current is $30.45 and the proposed is $36.95. And then the large restaurant, which is dumped 6 times a week, the current 6 yard rate is $277.50 and the proposed would be $349.63, and those are monthly rates, is what they'll be. So I'll open it up for any questions. Yes, sir.
I know you guys cringe when you come before me on rate increases and everything. And the work that the refuse department does is, if you look at the holidays and how they take care of us. And we haven't had a rate increase in 9 years. They're doing a fantastic job. The other thing we haven't really looked at is, our fuel rates have, really doubled. So good job and good presentation.
I might add to that, Mike. They do a very good job. Most of the cost for the refuse department is in the labor expense.
Yeah.
And then our vehicles, which is our main piece of equipment. And in this year's budget, there was a new trash truck that was put in for refuse.
Yeah.
They're like the mailman.
Yeah.
It's the dark of night, et cetera, and so forth. They're there in the rain, the snow, and the beautiful sunny mornings as well. So they deserve. Any other discussion?
Just
So this will
thanks,
cover,
Brent.
our- go ahead.
No, I just said thanks, Brent.
This will cover our costs, obviously.
Yes.
Good.
Yeah, that'll put us to the positive of, let's just back up here.
By
To
67,000.
$67,000.
Thank you.
Any other questions, comments? Mallory.
Bill 4684 to become ordinance 4684, first reading. Cotter,
Yes.
Topliff,
Yes.
Neese,
Yes.
Merle,
Yes.
Holman.
Yes,
Thank you.
thank you, Jed.
Bill 4685 to become ordinance 4685, first reading. An ordinance of the city of West Plains, Missouri to amend chapter 12 businesses of Code of Ordinance for the city of West Plains, Missouri by adding a new Article 6 pertaining to motor vehicle towing and wrecking service businesses used by the city of West Plains, including services used by the West Plains Police Department.
Make a motion, Bill 4685 become ordinance 4685, first reading.
Second.
Hey, Chief.
Mayor and Council, appreciate it. This is an ordinance that basically describes the guidelines and responsibilities of record services. The biggest thing it does for us is it locks down the costs that they can charge the owners of the vehicles on vehicles that we tow. We've heard of some very high bills because it's a police tow. They up their charges and things up to, some to the tune of $1,400 for all accidents. So we want to make sure that we have the proper liability and costs incurred. This ordinance does this. It's like a lot of other cities have very similar. Our legal has reviewed the ordinance and approved it. So, questions? I do have Sergeant Grinnell here. He's the one that researched this, talked to other cities, and can help answer any questions you may have.
Now, this doesn't limit us to just one specific towing service, right? But it sets a rate that other towing services can provide this connection.
We have what we call, Mike, what we have is a tow list.
Okay,
So if there's an accident, we call the tow service that's on that rotation. If there's another accident 20 minutes later, it'll go down to the next one.
okay.
To be on that list, you have to follow these guidelines. You got to have a secured facility. You got to be able to make sure all your drivers are insured and that you agree to not to charge on the costs that basically goes out to all the record services. And then we choose the lowest ones and then they all agree upon doing it if it's a police tow to set those charges.
Sounds good.
Chief, did you say you all had also reached out to some of the towing companies in town to get their input?
Yes. One of the things that stirred this up was because we're getting numerous complaints between the record services. He doesn't have insurance. He's got cables that are bad. He's not following the guidelines in your rotational assignments. So Sergeant Grinnell did check with the various tow companies, and the majority of them are very supportive because they thought it should have happened a long time ago.
Any other questions, comments? Mallory.
Bill 4685 to become ordinance 4685, first reading. Cotter,
Yes.
Topliff,
Yes.
Neese,
Yes.
Merle,
Yes.
Holman.
Yes.
Bill 1138 to become resolution 1138, a resolution appointing director and alternate director to the Missouri Joint Municipal Electric Utility Commission.
I make a motion, Bill 1138 become resolution 1138.
Second.
Okay, so this is appointing myself as the director, and Sam will be the alternate director. This is our voting rights for the Missouri Public Utility Association Board. That's what this is. So, is there any questions?
Any questions, comments? All those in favor say okay.
Okay.
All those opposed say no. Thank you, Jeff.
Here we go.
Just wait till I'll make him say aye.
That's a levity.
Next, we have council action. Jeff?
I only have 2 bid items tonight. The first one is conduit for the solar farm. This is for 16,000 feet of 3-inch Schedule 40 conduit. And as you can see there, I do have 4 bidders that sent me a bid. The 2 local bidders were actually the low bids here. But as you can see, their price could only be held through the day that they quoted. So I'm recommending Harry Cooper from Springfield, Missouri, for 16,000 feet of conduit for a total of $61,696. If approved, he will hold the price through midnight tonight. So if approved, I will place the order as soon as the meeting's over. That's my question. Make a motion that we approve the bid of Harry Cooper of Springfield, Missouri for $61,696 for conduit for the solar farm.
Second.
Any further discussion?
Yeah, question or clarification. You said there's 2 that bid local, but will only keep their bid until when?
The day that, which was 4/15, I believe that was Thursday. They bid it on Thursday, and past 5 o'clock or close of business, they couldn't hold their bid any longer.
Your specifications outline how long the bid needed to be held.
Specifications were just for Schedule 43-inch is what it was for. And I knew that we were going to have some issues. I had already been warned that, hey, we will be able to bid, but we won't be able to hold our bid prices for very long. So if I would have done it today, price would have been no good after 5 o'clock. So that's the reason why we had left it the way it was. Good. Thank you. Does that answer your question?
Yes. Any other discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Bad.
Okay, the next bid item I have is electric meters for inventory. This is for 3,000 class 200 meters. The only bidder I have there is Annixter because they do provide our AMI meters. And for 3,000 meters, I have a total price of $465,000.
Make a motion, we approve the bid of Annixter, Mattoon, Illinois for $465,000 for electrical meters for inventory.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor say you bet.
You
You
bet.
bet.
Opposed?
Okay, I have an invoice from Omnigo. What this is for Omnigo software. This is records management software for the police department. A year ago at this time, you approved the purchase of the software. What this is reoccurring software charges that actually will happen this time every year. And I don't know what information you have there as far as totals, but the total price on this invoice is $26,345.88. And all I'm doing is asking for permission to pay this invoice. Make a motion that we approve the invoice of Omnigo Software of St. Louis, Missouri for $26,345.88.
Second.
Any questions, any comments?
I think through the discussions earlier today, this will now show up as a line item in our budget. this annual renewal. So
That is correct. Yeah. So, yeah, I'm assuming it's reflected in the budget that we approved tonight or, okay.
Are there comments, questions? Those in favor say yes.
yes.
Those no. Pass.
Next item, we have the administrators report.
Good evening, council. First, I'd like to welcome Sam Hanson. I think I'm pronouncing that right correctly. As a new city administrator for City of West Plains, his official day started today. You are getting a great team. This is my last meeting, and so over the last several years, I just want to thank you for your support. NJCWA tournament, West Plains was the host of the NJCAA National One Division Women's Volleyball Championship this past weekend, this week and weekend. And I'm happy to report the event was a rousing success. Athletes and coaching staff from 16 teams all over the country came to West Plains. And Iowa Western was crowned as the 2021 National Championship Saturday night. They did beat Miami-Dade, which was supposed to be the #1 in the nation. The event drew approximately 1,500 spectators to the Civic Center, and our restaurants and hotels were filled for 4 days. We would like to thank tournament organizer Russ Gant, all the City of West Plains employees that participated, MSU West Plains, and the local business community for all their help and support. From what we heard from the NJCAA, the coaches and athletes and the fans, West Plains was a warm and gracious host, and we're excited to host the tournament again beginning in the fall of 2022. Just an update on the splash pad. Last week, the equipment for the new splash pad at the Children's Park was installed by All Inclusive Rec, and the Parks Department was given training on how the equipment operates. The final step is landscape the area around the pad, which has been delayed due to rain. Brian and his staff were able to do some work today, so and hopefully some more tomorrow. But we'll proceed as early as tomorrow, weather permitting. A ribbon cutting, I know Nick's been asking for this. A ribbon cutting and grand opening for the splash pad is now set for Wednesday, May 12th, with a rain date of May 13th.
You're closing the splash pad because of rain.
Did I say closing? Oh, well, if it rains, we're gonna do it on the same water. Throw them out there anyway.
We're just all gonna wear our swim trunks that day.
Oh,
You guys, I'll let you guys figure that out. Okay. And to kick off the swim season, the Aquatic Center will open on the last weekend of May over Memorial Day weekend. So we will be open.
Fantastic.
Just a reminder, I think Mallory posted it again today. The City of West Plains will host its annual citywide cleanup the week of April 26th through 30th. The event will occur on customers' normal trash pickup day. This annual event gives residents opportunity to clean up around their property and have most of the items hauled away free of charge. And for more details, please contact Brent Lidgard at 417-255-2330. And probably Brent loves me for giving that number out. Just a reminder also, April 22nd to 25th, 2021, we will waive the permit fee, and this weekend for the yard sales, this weekend will not count towards the yearly limit. Because of some anticipated rain, we've been given questions if we're going to reschedule. No, we will not reschedule. City Council open seat. The West Plains City Council is seeking letters of interest to fulfill an open seat on City Council as of April 30th. To be considered as a candidate, individuals must be a United States citizen, at least 25 years of age, have a continuous residence of the City of West Plains for at least 2 years, and a qualified voter for the City of West Plains. And letters of interest may be addressed to the West Plains City Council, carbon copy City Clerk Mallory Snodgrass, P.O. Box 710, West Plains, Missouri 65775, or email to Mallory Snodgrass at mallory.snodgrass@westplains.gov. Letters of interest are due by the end of business day, April 28th. The chosen candidate will serve on City Council until will serve on city council until, well, basically, the chosen candidate will serve, hopefully serve in the city council by May. We'll have to, well, wait a minute, I gotta back up, I read that wrong. The chosen candidate will serve on city council until April 2022. But I'll also have an opportunity to run for another seat if they want, another 4-year term. I apologize for that, I was trying to make it this May.
At that point, they'll run for a 3-year term.
Yes, that is correct. Then the last thing I have is last Saturday, Leonardo DRS opened a press conference with Congressman Jason Smith. I want to thank Steve Foster and the staff at DRS for hosting this event. Congressman Smith was in town to celebrate the announcement that the railroad overpass on Independence Drive and West Plains was approved by the State Department of Economic Development, DED, under the disaster recovery infrastructure. West Plains was approved for $2.5 million in disaster recovery infrastructure for this project. The total project cost of the new railroad overpass is $9.4 million. With this grant, we have $7.4 million or 80% funded. We are still waiting news from EDA, which everything we're hearing is positive. So hopefully this project will move forward very soon, very soon. So soon, that's not hard.
Well, that's just like this time.
Thank you. I need all the help I can get. Mayor and council, this is the end of my report. Thank you.
We can always buy lottery tickets, I guess.
Yeah, I guess we could.
Anything else come for the council?
Yeah, real quick, we wanted to, tonight marks the last city council meeting of Mayor Jack Bowman and our city administrator, Tom Sting. The Honorable Mayor Coleman, you've been a member of the city council since year 2000, way back then. And you've served the community as a mayor since 2012. You've helped us through a lot of rough years, including this last one. And what's funny is I just see here that you've been involved with 250 regular meetings, council meetings, and who knows how many special council meetings. So for that, you're truly going to be missed. Thank you, sir. I appreciate, how you've helped mentor me over the last 8 years. Tom has served as a city administrator since the fall of 2011, and he's retiring to spend more time with his family, and especially with 4 grandchildren now.
Yes.
So that I can understand. Thomas put his work in the tenure. He's been invaluable. We're so thankful for his leadership during almost the last decade. And what people don't know, one of your greatest accomplishments is the passing lanes on US 63. Wasn't that your design?
Yes.
There you go. That's one of his great accomplishments. So next time you're flying up to Houston.
That was a motor, though.
Yeah, but still, you brought that to us, so we appreciate it. We just want to wish you both happiness in your retirement and hope that you don't have to get up at 7 in the morning to phone calls and complaints, and that just every day is sunshine. Well, you're going to be in Kansas, so
I'm call forwarding my phone to your number.
Okay.
We will be honoring both of them next Tuesday from 2 to 4, and it's open to the public and all city staff in the Dogwood Room at the Civic Center.
Appreciate you both.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anything else come for the council? We are adjourned. Okay. It was nice.
Yeah, it was.